The Thunderbirds, Kim Wilson. Birgit, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I can't believe you actually have the lung capacity left even to talk.
I dive, I'm a deep diver in the ocean.
Well, you get lots of practice from what you do. It's awesome. So now, was there actually anyone that inspired you to become one of the best harmonica players on the planet, or how did that whole interest develop?
I played with all of the old guys since I was a kid. I started playing with people like Eddie Taylor and Pee Wee Creighton, Wolf Folsom, many, Albert Collins. I was probably about 18 years old when I started playing with those guys. And then when I moved to Texas, I moved to Minnesota, I played with a whole bunch of other people, like some Detroit people like Boogie Woogie Red and Eddie Burns, and some Chicago people also, Fenton Robinson. And then I moved down to Texas and I met Muddy Waters and Buddy Guy, Junior Wells, Jimmy Rogers, and I kept playing with all the other guys at the same time. They all showed up down at Antone's.
And Muddy Waters actually called you his favorite vocalist and harmonica player. How did that make you feel?
It was great. It was fantastic. It was, you have to keep your head on straight when people start telling you things, like Muddy Waters start telling you things like that, because it was one of those things where it was like, look at you and look at me. It wasn't, I didn't believe in it, thank God, and I was able to. He kept me going, though. The fact that he said that really made me want to be what he said I would.
Yeah, live up to it. And you had quite a special relationship for many years with him, did you not?
Yes.
So tell us maybe some of your best moments with him, or a story of, a memory that you have of him.
Those are all censored, aren't they?
Well, I told the story to Buddy Guy and he put it on his pick. Buddy Guy used to have a pick. On one side it said his name, on the other side it said, "Go F yourself." And what that was about was that we were down in Texas opening up for Muddy Waters, and we didn't have a drummer. So I asked Willie Big-Eyed Smith if he would ask the old man if he could play with us that night. So he came back down, said everything was cool. And Fabulous Thunderbirds got up there with Willie Big-Eyed Smith, and we kicked some serious ass. The crowd went crazy, so I go running upstairs, I'm happy as I can be. There's Muddy sitting there, he's got his 2 bottles of Piper, and a couple of girls on his lap, as usual. And I called him Pops. I said, "Hey Pops, how you doing?" "Pops, how you doing?" He was like grumbling. I said, "No, what? You're not mad because I use Willie, are you?" And he said, You go F yourself." I knew I was in.
Yeah, when people swear in front of you, it usually means you are in. I find that too.
Yeah, when Muddy Waters tells you to go fuck yourself, you know you're. But there were a lot of moments with people like Muddy and people like Albert Collins just standing outside the club until dawn talking about the old days when I first started, and people like Albert Collins really kind of pushed me on my way. He said a lot of nice things when I was just a little kid, and those are things you always take with you. I remember Lowell Folsom was the first guy to talk to me about how to accompany someone on the harmonica. You don't have to blow all over the place. You got to know how to get in and out of there. And later on, that's what Muddy liked me for. In fact, Muddy used the same terminology. It was a dream, more than any kind of hit record you could have, to be around those old guys. And they were gods, And then you meet them, and they're just normal people, and they're just very, very generous. You get up on the bandstand with them, and you have to pinch yourself when you're on the bandstand. Of course, then you got to wake up and start playing, or you're gone, you know. But it was an incredible experience. After they die, they become those godlike figures again. It's almost like you never knew them, you know, but you know you did. A lot of people don't even believe you when you say it, you know. But I was there for all of it. I was there for every last drop of it.
How many people saw Buddy Guy here? He was actually here earlier this year. He was playing guitar up in the upper balcony, and he came out playing the guitar in the lobby.
That's funny.
He was awesome.
See, that's cheating though. He had a wireless. Now, Albert Collins used to have a 200-foot cord.
Yeah.
And people used to have to hold the cord as he walked into the parking lot. That was back in the low-tech days, you know, when it really meant something. Anybody can walk around with a wireless, you know. No, but I love Buddy Guy. I'll tell you what, we had some, every time I play Buddy's place in Chicago, he always comes up and gets on the bandstand. He always gets up early because he wants to leave, you know. But they say that he doesn't do that for very many people. I actually, the one thing that I really regret is that I didn't get on that acoustic tour with Buddy, which was a fantastic show. I sat in with him for 3 of the shows, and it really made me wish that I'd done the whole tour, because it was really a fantastic thing with Larry Taylor and Richard Innes and Jimbo Mathis. And that was a very, very good show. One of the best I've seen. You know, only one. And when I used to see Buddy and Junior in the old days, and they used to come to Antone's all the time too. But I think the best time I saw Junior Wells, at least, was at the Beacon Theater in New York. It was a big festival at that theater, and I was standing right there. And I used to always kiss Junior's ass when I would see him, because you have to start talking to these guys in the third person, you know, to really ultra respect them, you know. But because I learned a lot about singing from Junior, and boy, he just put on. I'll never forget that. The band, the dynamics of the band, and you know, it's something. These guys, there's nobody like these guys. There'll never be anybody like these guys. The best you can do is maybe bust your head through the basement of things and of that peer group. You know, we just did that thing with that movie soundtrack for Cadillac Records, and I really felt for the actors who had to try and play these people who were real icons. And they did it well. I mean, they did it with respect, and that's all you can ask for. They did it with love and respect. It would have never worked had the egos come into play. But if you're playing Etta James, if you're playing Muddy Waters, if you're playing any of these people, your ego's got to be left at the door, because it just ain't gonna work.
In over 30 years of your career, what would you say has been one of the most surprising parts of it?
I hate to tell you, but I'm over 40 years of my career. But the surprising part? You know, I think it was surprising to have a hit record in the 80s. You know, we really were bucking everything, and we weren't really ready for it, but we did it. And it was amazing to watch things climb the charts. It was amazing. You know, it's kind of a superfluous thing, you know what I mean? It's not really real. None of that pop music stuff is real, you know, but what was real were the people working that record who are real veterans of the record business, and to watch them do that. After they were gone, the veterans of the record business were gone. You know, and about, not long after that, well, at Epic Records anyway, they were gone. And then you got people coming in who weren't as experienced, who weren't those old grizzled, you know, showbiz people, who were really, you had to respect them, you know what I mean? Even if you hated pop music, which I did,